Hello and welcome everybody to the High Ground podcast. I'm excited because one of my favorite things to do is whenever I talk to people, I find out how they got into Star Wars, and depending on how and when, like it's an entirely different experience altogether. So I've brought on some awesome people, and we are going to talk with some people that are newer to Star Wars. It's going to be awesome, and it's happening right here on the High Ground. All right. Hello and welcome, my esteemed guests. I am very excited to talk to all of you guys about your experience jumping into Star Wars. Nico, I was shocked when I found out, because you've been on before. I was shocked when I found out. Bad recaps. Also, everyone, let me know what you want me to call you. But I really enjoyed watching those movies along with you as you documented the progress. It's a lot of fun. And Danica also mentioned the same. I was like, oh, I got to get her on because I love your cosplay and stuff. And also just the best energy. So, yeah, let's jump into it. First, we'll kind of go around and I'll have you guys introduce yourselves. So we'll say, who are you? Where can we find your awesome content? And who is your Star Wars bestie? Like, you can hang out with anyone, have any best friend in Star Wars. Who are you choosing? Same question goes out to everyone in the chat, but let's go to bad recaps first.
Hi! Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. So my name is AJ. You could call me AJ or Bad Recaps, or Age. A lot of my friends call me Age. My Star Wars bestie is Queen Edamame. She's my fave. I would totally want to hang out with her all the time. I wish she didn't die so young. What was the other question that we're supposed to answer right now?
Oh, it's where where can we find all of you and your content?
So on TikTok, at Bad Recaps, I do bad recaps of Star Wars movies.
It's amazing.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome. And you do music stuff too? Is there a separate music channel that you
So I do have a music account that I basically have not spent any time on since Bad Recaps started, kind of becoming a thing. But I'm starting to kind of merge the music and the Star Wars stuff, which has been really fun. Released 2 Star Wars parody songs, and we have some more coming up. So, but that's what I'm actually a musician in real life. So that's what I do.
Awesome. I love it. I tried to be a musician. I can do a little bit of stuff, but awesome. And how about you, Danica?
Yeah, my name's Danica. I'm a small cosplayer pretty much just on TikTok. TikTok, Instagram, it's Hamikarita. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I don't know how it came to be, so I just stuck with it. And I'll be honest, I think my Star Wars bestie would probably be Wrecker.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's awesome. No, we stand Wrecker for sure. Last but not least, how about you, Nico?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nico. On TikTok, I'm Nico.Skywalker. I just spin lightsabers every day like a crazy person in my room. And my Star Wars bestie would have to be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of figured you were gonna say that.
Like it's generic for me.
Yeah, but it's a classic one. Let's check in with the chat real quick though. First, I gotta always shout out Jedi Master DePaul. Thank you so much for the $5 of ramen. Always appreciate you. He's also got a podcast, Conspiracy Cantina. I watched them last night, and yeah, him and X-Core Gamer Skills are always a good time. We got We got Malik saying, yeah, me and Hondo. Me and Hondo are tearing up the cantina scene. Yep. That's a good Star Wars bestie. Star Wars lawyer Chris saying Finn Orlando, which I figured, you know. Element 7, me and Yoda having a staring contest in the council chambers. I love it. Malik is also going to be hanging out with Geode. That's for sure. Darthman86, BD1. BD1 would be a good one. I don't even think of that. This is like a loyal puppy just chilling with you. Carter-D2 having Ezra on here. Brian Kawa says bad recaps. Woo! And Malik was also shouting out Danica. Awesome.
Hey.
And Danica's camera's having some trouble, which is
Uh-oh.
which is okay.
I'll fix that.
Just another Star Wars channel saying Sabine. Yeah, we got some awesome choices here. For myself, who would my Star Wars bestie be? I mean, I feel like this time I'm gonna go with Chewbacca, because I just imagine like you're having a rough day, and you turn and Chewbacca gives you a hug. Like, you can't beat that, can you?
So
imagine
cozy.
a Chewbacca hug.
I would love a Chewbacca hug right now.
That is hard to beat.
Absolutely. So, what is? So kind of jumping into it though, I gotta ask, because if you guys just discovered Star Wars, what the hell were you doing before? Like, how do you go this long? You know, you know, like what were you into before all this? I guess I'll go to Nico first, but y'all, you know, this is meant to be conversational, so feel free to jump in whenever you guys, you know, want to share thoughts. But yeah, Nico, what were you doing?
I was into an unhealthy amount of anime, but still am. But I decided to watch Star Wars because it was just on Disney Plus. I was like, you know what? Why not? Never.
Okay.
But anime, definitely. Manga, all of that.
Nothing wrong with anime.
No, I love how you say it. It's like, I used to be into it. I still am, but but I used to as well. How about you, Danica? And what took you so long? What were you doing before?
Me, Harry Potter and Lord of the Ring was completely overtaking my life. It was that and reading. I was a kid that always had either a book in my hand or my face in a book. Like, teachers were exasperated with me, always talking about Harry Potter, always talking about Percy Jackson, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think they're quite happy that I didn't get into Star Wars until after I graduated, because they probably wouldn't have heard the end of it. But it was 2020 in like March. Literally right after spring break, we got put in quarantine for the first time, and I was just like, you know what, I should try Star Wars. Everyone's been talking about Star Wars, and I would see, like, I would not even, like, I knew what Star Wars was in general, like I knew like the concept of the story and everything, but I had never sat down and watched them. So that's what I did for literally I would say it took me maybe about 3 days, and I watched a trilogy per day, and it was I put down the pencil and I picked up the lightsaber.
A trilogy per day. Damn.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I couldn't even, you couldn't go anywhere, like, and I live in a very rural place, and it was snowstorming, so I was like, you know what? It's the perfect time to do so.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I feel like COVID has made everyone weirder because being
In the
indoors,
best way.
in the best way, more fulfilled people and less, you know, we live for ourselves a bit more than we did prior. How about you, AJ?
So, before I was into Star Wars, uh, so I'm a chick flick kind of person. I love musicals. I love dramas, plays, mumblecore, and horror. Okay, those are kind of like the genres that I've lived my life in. Um,
What is Mumbo Core?
mumblecore is a genre where people just talk about their feelings. It's very
Okay.
Oh,
character driven versus plot driven. Like usually there's not much that happens in a story, but you see people just kind of go through things and figure things out in their life and, work out things in relationships. I know it sounds terribly boring, but that's the kind of stuff that I've always really been into. So the whole fantasy genre, I don't, would you call Star Wars fantasy or like sci-fi?
It's fantasy, I'd say.
Yeah, so fantasy is something that I was never really into. I have never seen Harry Potter. I've seen a tiny bit of Lord of the Rings. I've seen one Marvel movie. I am the noobest, okay? So, um, so yeah, I did actually see the original trilogy in the movie theater when they re-released it when I was little. I think they must have re-released them right before the prequels came out, and
Yeah.
my dad took me to see them. And I remember having fun and thinking it was cool, but it just wasn't a part of my family or like any of my friends to like be into Star Wars. So I wasn't really around it. So I honestly didn't remember anything until I rewatched them this year.
That's awesome. No, and one of the things I love because you explained Mumblecore, and that's one of the reasons I actually love Star Wars and especially got into the books because I'm not in it for the big action set pieces. I'm in it for because I care about the characters that had developed this stuff, and then they go into danger, and you're like, no, he was this close to retirement, and
why would you
Yes.
do that?
so I definitely get it. And as far as chick flicks are concerned, Father of the Bride 2, very underrated, amazing film. Check it
I
out.
haven't seen it. I gotta see that one.
In the chat, I have a element saying, "You ever imagine a Yoda hug?" Yeah, no, a Yoda hug. Yoda hug would be cool. Cuddling with Wicket, absolutely. Wicket, he'd be like a little pillow. My little creature's going nuts in the background. I don't know what's going on over there.
Surprises me that mine is not at my door. Normally, he's always near me, and like if I don't let him in my room, he's sitting in front of the door and he's literally yelling.
Yeah, last week on Dyad, Haley's cat was just started like making weird sounds, like it was dying somewhere nearby. It's kind of concerning. Dan the Man says, "Hail, new Star Wars fans. My advice: keep doing you." Appreciate it, Dan. Appreciate the $2. Thank you so much.
I'll be honest though, I think my first Star Wars memory was probably back when I was a kid. I had this little like my mom went to the store and she bought me those an inflatable chair of Queen Padme Amidala. And it like if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, this chair gave me nightmares for years. I was so
wow.
scared because I did not know what that was. I had no knowledge of Star Wars back when I was like maybe 4 or 5. I was in like
Oh,
kindergarten. It was back when Phantom Menace came out.
and you're
And
like,
so
who's this
like
creepy geisha woman like staring at
well,
me?
exactly because like the only thing is that the entire head, upper body would be like I'm trying to find the word. I'm sorry. The back of the chair, like where you lean on, and so her face would just be out of proportions, and it would just be her makeup, like the with the two white dots, and that just kind of was scary a bit. But then when I finally sat down there and watched, I just went, "That's where it came from." Oh,
Oh, you're like, I just thought it was my sleep paralysis demon or something like. who is it? Another creator, Erica, Pixelated Erica has that chair, but the Darth Maul version, and it's like you're sitting on Darth Maul's lap, but again the proportions are weird and it's creepy.
It looks weird. It just I'm not gonna lie. I did Google sometimes like merch, like because sometimes I see BuzzFeed article about Phantom Menace merch, and I'm just like, wow, they really went all out on those.
Yeah. Oh no, for Phantom Menace, man, those they were wilding when it comes to like.
It was 1999. Come on, everybody was going.
I'm still scarred because they made. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a candy thing that's Jar Jar's head, and the candy part is his tongue.
Yes.
So you open it, and it's like a.
It's like you're kissing Jar Jar.
The candy is sucking on Jar Jar's tongue, and you're like, who
Oh,
green, really? Like, oh
It's
my
okay
goodness.
for children. Like,
Let's see here. X-Core Gamer Skills is to quote my dad, "You're not weird. You're right." I like that. Shout out to Quarantine TikTok for being my gateway into Star Wars obsession. Yep. Element doing a play on what instead of AJ being the newbest, she's the new best. I appreciate that.
Very nice.
Soda Man, both Father of the Brides are great. Yes, both of them are great movies. Yes, they're deemed as chick flicks, but I was like, even me at like 8 years old was watching this like, oh, this is hilarious. Like, Darthman, Steel Magnolias. We changed the energy in the chat here. Yeah, it's Starfax says, "Oh no, not the Jar Jar pop." Yeah, y'all need to Google that when you get a second and have nightmares. It haunts me for sure. So is there any like additional story from any of you guys on what made you start? Was it just like I just saw it, so I watched it.
bit of peer pressure, not gonna lie.
Danica, were you part of the cosplay community prior to Star Wars?
No. Well, not on TikTok. I did had a Fallout costumes a few years back, did a few costumes in high school and stuff like that, but never really was into the cosplay community. But like when I got on TikTok, I saw everyone and I was like, oh man, I should do something like that. And then my first cosplay was Star Wars on TikTok. My first cosplay was Rey. And then I went on from there. I got Kara, I got Leia. And then I just started accumulating cosplays and I'm not stopping.
Love it.
It's like lightsabers, you can't have just one.
That's true.
that's
can't.
true. Yes.
And sorry, were you about to say something, AJ?
Yeah, I can't wait to check out your stuff, Danica. It sounds so cool.
Me too. I can't wait to check out your stuff too.
Oh, thanks. I got into Star Wars because I got married to a geek, and he loves Star Wars. And I thought, I should really be a good wife because he watches all the movies that I want to watch, and he watches Gilmore Girls with me. And I was like, it's time for me to start watching some of the stuff that he's into. So we started watching the movies one by one. I have not seen anything outside of the trilogies yet. So, except for a little Clone Wars and Mandalorian.
Hold on
so
to your socks.
yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, I'm just trying to like hang with him and understand the stuff that he likes. So that's how I got into it, and it's been quite a journey. I definitely never expected that any of this would happen. When I was like, okay, I'll watch Star Wars with you.
Awesome. Well, that's the best. I'm fortunate that my wife, she's not anywhere near as big of a Star Wars fan. Like we both geek out over anime and stuff like that. Um, she hasn't gotten me to because she's obsessed with Korean dramas. I haven't jumped into any Korean dramas yet, and so apparently I have to watch Squid Game because that's all anyone is willing to talk about ever. Element Seven does has a whole separate channel on Korean dramas. I don't know if you wanted me to say that, but still. But if you want character driven, that's there for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta ask though, what are your movie rankings? Now you don't have to go through the entire list, but top 3 movies. And it also rank the trilogies. And I'll go to Danica first.
Oh boy. Movies. So just like the trilogies, or do we go with like?
Any of them? Yeah. Just what do you love?
I'm gonna say there is always like those little elements in each of the movie that kind of become like your little comfort things. Like in each of them, I can find a little something. But I mean, if you're asking me to choose a top 3, A New Hope, Rogue One, and Force Awakens.
Okay. Nice. All going for that classic feel. I approve. And how do you rank the trilogies?
Mm, ouch. I'm gonna have to go with. Oh my God, that's really you got me there. I'm gonna go with prequels, sequels, and originals.
Okay. All right. I could see it's.
But
I
then
know how you
again,
feel
like
because none of the prequels were in your top 3, but you still rank that as your top trilogy. That's interesting. I've had a similar experience. So
well, my number 4 was Revenge of the Sith. You're asking.
no, that's fair. And I like to do top 3 because once you go beyond that, people are like, "Oh, so you're saying you hate this movie?" And you're like, "No, it's just not my top 3. Like, leave me alone." How about you, AJ?
I really liked Return of the Jedi. I think that might be my favorite. I also really like The Rise of Skywalker. Um, so I I I struggle with if the original trilogy or the sequels are my favorite because I feel like the original trilogy just has to be the best because it's original, right? And it's where it all came from. But at the same time, from the perspective of someone who didn't grow up with Star Wars, the sequels are the ones that are easiest to watch for me. And they're the ones that I just find it easiest to get into and identify with the characters. I'm not sure why, but just from a purely like enjoyable, watchable movie perspective, I feel like the sequels are that for me.
Awesome. I love it. And that's why I love talking to like because whenever you got into Star Wars, it's always unique answers because some people are coming in with weird baggage or like bias that they don't know that they have. Um, but yeah, I love it. How about you, Nico?
All right. Well, my favorite movie is The Last Jedi. I recently found a new appreciation for Return of the Jedi, so it has taken my number 2. And Revenge of the Sith has fallen out of my 3, and my last is A New Hope.
A New Hope, love. You gotta
Yes,
love to see it.
it's just it's a nice story. Like as a single movie, I just love watching it so
Hmm.
much.
You're right, it is a really good standalone story.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just like it's just nice. The music choices. I love seeing old Ben. You get some good Luke moments
Hmm.
and the destruction of the Death Star, which I I have a new appreciation for the destruction of the Death Star, but that's unrelated to anything. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's my ranking. And my ranking of the trilogies would go sequels, originals, and prequels. But I still love the prequels.
Yes. And again, I'll reiterate: just because something is ranked last doesn't mean you don't like it. You know, you gotta.
For me, it's more like a visual thing, like the lightsaber battles, the way they film like certain scenes, the way like the aesthetic goes. It's visually soothing. Like that's something that plays a big part in my ranking of the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I do appreciate is there's a lot of Return of the Jedi love here because my ranking is The Last Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. And I feel like the end of Return of the Jedi is like the most Star Wars has ever been. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling and aesthetic to me that signifies Star Wars. Which is funny because when it came out, it was the most hated. The community is a trip for sure. Sometimes. I'm sure y'all have figured that out by now.
No, you don't say.
Let's see. We have Darth Man 86, Rogue One, Episode 3, and then Solo. Nice. Event Skywalker is saying Return of the Jedi. Let's go. And Tross Love, respect. Nerd Connor, The Last Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith. Nice. Starfax, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, then Rogue One. Ooh, we are getting there's a lot of Rogue One love, a lot of The Last Jedi love. Ace Bronx, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi.
We love it.
Saint Pat, shout out to Saint Pat. He's the one who made my logo thing. Awesome dude. Return of the Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith, and the Rise of Skywalker. He wrote ROS and then TROS, which confused me a bunch. Pod One's podcast. I have Luke here. Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, and just another Star Wars channel. Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Solo. But I love how varied like our community is. At least the non-toxic side of it. But I love to embrace those differences because you can really see what people enjoy in the different films, you know, based off of that. What are your guys' favorite parts of the franchise? You know, what jumps out at you, and what do your favorite parts of the films or of just like being part of the community?
Lightsabers.
Lightsabers, definitely. Like the lightsaber battles.
Yeah, Nico, you have mad flow, and he's been making lightsaber videos every day, and you can see the technique growing and growing and growing. It's cool.
I look back at day one because somebody made a video where they showed one of my most recent and the first one I ever posted, and I was what? I couldn't even Obi-Annie. It was terrible. But great to see the progress.
Absolutely. Anyone else like anything about the movies?
I really love the redemption story of Anakin, and the end of Return of the Jedi was honestly thrilling to watch. I really love that. And then I think my all-time favorite pieces of Star Wars are just like the little bits of tea that we get, like love triangles, the whole Anakin and Edamame dating montages of like him just being so terribly awkward. I just really love that stuff. Like I could live without the battles and the pew pews and all of that and the ships. Like give me the relationship drama any day. I'm here for it.
Yeah, you're gonna love Rebels.
Oh,
uh,
You're gonna love Clone Wars too.
Yeah, I do. I watched the first like I don't know, like 7 episodes. I really like it so far.
Oh, hold
nice.
on to your socks. It just get better and better.
Can't wait.
hello.
Uh, okay, okay. What order did you guys watch it in?
Uh, episode 1 to 9. That's how I did it. And then my friend was like, "You gotta watch the standalone too." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I watched the standalone, and then she made me watch the entirety of Clone Wars with her. So I basically spent the entirety of Clone Wars having a cell phone recording me through the screen because she was recording my reactions. It was so funny.
Awesome. And
So,
you.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. First of all, if we ever are talking at the same time, I'll stop and you guys keep going because I'd rather hear from y'all. But yeah, what order did you watch it in, AJ?
So, besides the, original trilogy when I was a kid, which I don't quite count because, like I said, I didn't really remember anything from it. Started from episode 1, um, and then we skipped over the original trilogy because I thought that I remembered it. I was like, oh, we don't have to watch those again. We can skip right to the sequels. And then I went back and watched the original trilogy. So basically, whenever we make videos, I watch the movie again because it takes me like 3 times of watching the movie to be able to tell you what's going on. Barely.
That's awesome. And Unico?
All right, this is gonna sound insane, but I started with the Mandalorian.
It's a bold move.
Yeah, I don't know what made me start with the Mandalorian. Like I said, I was on Disney Plus and just clicked Star Wars, but I surprisingly was not as confused, and I made a video about this. Like,
And he froze.
it's oh wait, I froze. Hello.
Yep. Yes. See, can you say that again? Aw. Well, that's not good.
Oh,
Oops.
I'm sure he's just having some Wi-Fi trouble. We'll be back
He joined the
on in just a
force.
moment. um, yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, for me, it was largely release order, so that's nothing special. But I always am curious, since you guys watch in different orders, what do you think the story is about? Is this like Luke's story, or is this Anakin's story? What do you guys think?
I have a feeling it's about Anakin for the prequels and for the prequels I really feel like it's Anakin's story. And then like for the um for the originals we definitely see Luke's story. And then after that, like when it gets to the sequel, we see a little bit of everything. We see Han's story, we see Leia's story, we see Rey's story. We have new people, Finn coming in. I feel like towards the end it more got into a like broader storyline, like more about I don't know, I mean maybe like how much being like in a good group could be helpful.
Yeah, that whole found family.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean kind of, Star Wars kind of big on that recently. Mando, Grogu, Bad
yeah,
Batch, Omega.
just
Yes.
I mean, the Mandalorian is just a single dad, just like doing his thing.
Trying to get his kid to daycare.
Yeah, because like for me, watching the originals first, this whole thing is about Luke and his journey, and then going back and seeing how the galaxy got to this point. But for a lot of people, it's watching who started with the prequels. It's watching Anakin grow up, turn bad, and then turn good. And then, but I love what you said about it overall, just being about found family, and like Anakin didn't feel that, and things didn't go good for him. I don't know. Any thoughts, Nico?
All right, yeah. Sorry about that earlier. But yeah, basically what you guys have said since I've been back. But starting with the Mandalorian, it was still weird because after that, I jumped to the sequel trilogy because it's the newest movies. Why not? Was my mindset, and then I went back to the prequels and then caught up. So for me, seeing all of this lore in Star Wars is what really made me want to jump in. I like lore heavy franchises.
Mm-hmm.
So just having a bunch to consume in quarantine was amazing.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, I've always been into Star Wars, but much like AJ, I hadn't seen any Lord of the Rings until this year. Like this November, I watched it for the first time. Hadn't seen any Harry Potter or like any of those other franchises, and so I guess it's normal. I put all my eggs in one basket.
It's a good basket.
Yes, very good. And but now I'm finally branching out and stuff, so that's fun for me as well. Um, yeah, so we kind of got your favorite parts, but all right. So 3 questions for everyone. What do you love? Like, love. Could be a character, could be a scene, could be anything, but like it really like pulls on your heart. For me, I mean, there's a lot that I love, but like there is a brief moment when Anakin and Padme are standing on the thing and they go out into the Coliseum and they like kiss and then the music swells and like I don't know, I love that part. But all right, so what do you love? What surprised you? And what do you think of the community? And I am going to AJ first.
So, something that I really love. I'm going to tell you 2 things. One thing that I really love is the different planets and just seeing the world building of each planet. And then just this may sound like totally obvious, but the fact that in the universe you can literally go from one planet to the other, like you're going from like Chipotle to Target. I just think that's so cool. And they're all so different. And there's some really beautiful ones. I love that. Um, Another thing that I love is actually your third question. I love the community, like the passion in the community and the way. I mean, I know there are definitely some toxic people, but I would say more often than not, the community has embraced and welcomed me, and I just love that. I think that's very cool, and I like seeing OG Star Wars fans get excited to see a new fan get into the thing that they love. I think that's very sweet, and it honestly brings me joy every day.
Awesome, I love it. And then what surprised you? Was there anything that?
I think it honestly surprised me that I liked the movies because
Okay.
I really went into it being like, this is a labor of love. I am such a good wife. And I'm like, wow, like this is actually fun. I really like this. I can get into this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, what's funny is with my wife, um, when we were dating, she had never watched The Office, and refused to. She was certain she was going to hate it, and I was like, I think you'll really like it. And then now it's playing on one of our TVs 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Yep.
week.
Same
So
here.
it's so it's funny when something like that. It's a labor of love, or so they think. But like, no, we're looking out for you. Like, how about you, Nico?
All right. Okay. Remind me of the first question again. I know
Oh
it's
yes. So what do you love?
okay.
What surprised you?
Hmm.
And what do you think of the community?
Okay. What I really love about Star Wars is how many people there are just going through the galaxy, just trying to find a way. It's like that's essentially where almost all of these stories start. It's like here's a person and how they're just coping with what's happening in this universe. And that's like I like those stories. Like when they start there and you're like, okay, we're here. And you branch out. Something that surprised me was how deep Star Wars lore
Yeah.
gets. It
Yeah.
has so much. Like, oh man, when I finally learned the difference between canon and non canon, I was so happy. I was like, yay! I finally know. And what was it? Something that makes me sad?
No. So what do you think of the community?
Oh, the community. The community is the reason why I started making videos. I was like, this seems like a nice community to be a part of and just make videos in and build up in. What I'm more surprised by is how much some people love certain aspects of Star Wars, like just an attachment. And I think it is because of like just where they started.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really like a modern mythology, more than anything else. And I feel like for a lot of people, they grew up. A lot of people who grew up with the prequels, for instance, maybe that's how they learned to deal with just growing up in general. And I've noticed a lot of people who grew up in like organized religions really latching on to Anakin and how he was dealing with the Jedi Order and stuff like that. But this stuff helps. It's how younger kids make sense of the world around them. And so I've always thought that was really cool because these stories, while they are fantastical in nature, they still force you to deal with certain situations isolated from where you are, and so you can like draw those conclusions. I think that's really cool. But how about you, Danica?
Something that I love. Um, Probably going to be the visual. Like, um, on Disney Plus, there's this thing, biomes, where it's just a camera panning and you see all of the planets, all of the different sceneries. There's also Galaxy of Sound, which is just ambient noises from like the different movies, and it doesn't look like that much, but it is something that I kind of like seeing. I like seeing the sceneries because yes, okay, there's the story, there's the character, but you can't forget the settings. You can't forget anything that's around it because it all just it's like a big puzzle. You need all of the pieces, and it's kind of like what I like, the soundtrack, like the little background things. And I'll be honest, something that surprised me was, I mean, yeah, probably like just how many things there are Star Wars. Yes, there's the movies, there's the series, but there's also legends. There's the comics, there's the book, and it's just there's so many things that I'm just there and I'm just like, bring it on. Bring it on. Like, bring that to me. I'm gonna read it all. And I've got literally, by pure coincidence, found a bunch of Star Wars Legends book, like Hair of the Jedi and like all of those books. And I'm just there. They're all right now in my library and I'm reading them and I'm just so excited.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm reading Ronan right now, which is based off of the first the thing from Visions. And like, yes, it does recap what you saw in Visions, but that's the very beginning of it, and it expands. You get to find out more about who he is and where he's going and why and all this stuff. It's super cool. But that's one of the best things is there's so much detail in every little
The attention to
scene.
detail is just It's good.
there's a story that's really good, and it's about in Empire Strikes Back. There's a scene where Han and Leia are like arguing, and some guy runs in between them real quick. That guy has a story, and it's really good. Also, I'm going to start a formal petition to force AJ to read Lost Stars as her first Star Wars book.
Okay.
It's very, very amazingly character driven, beautiful story, and yeah, absolutely, it's the best.
Okay, I'm gonna write this down.
I'll sign it.
Yes.
I'll sign it too.
Have you guys read it too?
No, but I gotta read it now too.
Not yet, me neither. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
I will. Okay. So, people in the chat, if you have read it, your thoughts on from what she said, that being her first Star Wars book. Because I really think. Let's see, Harith, Lost Stars is so good. It's true. It's very true. Malik is bringing up Kedpin Shiklop. Kedpin Shiklop is when in The Last Jedi, when they're the fathers and they're running through the casino and stuff like that, and it runs through like this bathhouse scene. Kedpin Shiklop is one character that's in that scene. He has a whole story. He's on a business trip that he won. It's amazing. Haley Corellia Coffee says y'all need to read it. Talking about Lost Stars again. Aiden talks Star Wars. Lost Stars is a must read. Starfax says I haven't finished it, but it's a really gripping book. Star Wars Lore says if that's her first, that's going to be a ride in all the best and emotional ways. Alyssa Grace just says the Star Wars books are amazing, and X Square hasn't read it yet. But I'm telling you, if you plan to, I feel like that's the place to start.
It's great.
So was there anything? Malik says, "Lost Stars hurt me so good." But when watching it, was anything scary? Like scariest part? Someone who's scariest part, funniest part, and what are you going to jump into next? That's Star Wars related. We'll go to Nico first.
The scariest part, I don't know. I have like this weird thing about bugs. So it's anytime gigantic bug creatures. So I'm gonna give
the Mandalorian
it to
probably
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian. Oh, that was a terrible episode. Okay, what's the next question?
Funniest.
The funniest.
If you thought anything was funny at all.
I
It's
feel
okay
like
if you
it
did.
has to be something in Rebels. I don't know. Rebels just had me dying a good amount of time, just dying laughing. Oh,
You're
the
scaring
funniest
me
part
because
of
I
Rebels-
haven't watched Rebels yet.
Oh, okay. I'll switch it up.
No, don't switch it. Go for it. I mean, I've pretty much gotten everything spoiled already.
Nah, we'll save this funny one because it made me laugh. I'll switch it up because this next one's in The Mandalorian too, and I talked about it recently. But a part I laughed at, but I felt like I shouldn't have laughed at, is when the ARC troopers, I think, they punch Baby Yoda in the face.
When they hit the bag, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm
but IG just comes in and he's like, "You heard him, bow bow."
yes, and I'm just like that. That
Yeah.
scene right there. Hilarious.
You don't mess with our baby. Let's see here. Real quick, Alyssa Gray says the Padme books are great. The Padme books are great. I'm very disappointed that Queen's Hope got pushed back until April. Haley also agrees. But yeah, Starfax says no, the cave spiders traumatize me. Never again will I watch that episode. That's valid. I always laugh hysterically every time we see Yoda for the first time in Empire Strikes Back, and he's all weird and senile, and he's eating the food, and his like little puppet mouth is like moving weird, and he's having the tug of war. I don't know why, it just gets me every time. I don't know, that's my favorite thing. How about you, Danica?
Scariest part, like someone said in the chat, the spiders. I no, it's a note from me because I am terrified of spiders in real life. Like, I can't. I see a spider. Like, if you see me running, that's probably because I saw a spider or something. I cannot like I. But what's worse is that my funniest moment is also in that episode, and that's when Grogu. I know it's mean, but it's Grogu eating the frog eggs. It just gets me. It gets me because Mando's there and he's like, no, no, don't do that. And he just keeps going. He's like, I'm not listening. Like, that's. And what was the other one?
What is the next thing you're gonna jump into? And I'll come back and get that for you as well, Nico.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Next thing, Star Wars. I may or may not have a lot of upgrades to bring to one of my character, and it includes an armor.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a new cosplay or an upgraded cosplay. So everyone better follow Danica at Pamakarita. And I'll put the notes in later, but so we can anxiously await when you reveal it. It'd be awesome.
The baby Yoda eating the eggs things were so my favorite that at Christmas last year we all had to make a little dessert stuff for Christmas supper. And I was like, what should I do? And I watched that episode around that time and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do those. And I actually did them. I did the Jello. I did the eggs in Jello, so that was just funny. And they were like floating. Like I made a punch bowl that was blue, and the eggs were just floating in there. And I just got my Grogu doll, and I just like put him on the side of it, looking in, and this was just funny.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, it looks like every single person in the chat has arachnophobia. Also, shout out to the movie Arachnophobia. So it's an oldie, but a good one. If you like your skin,
Goldie.
if you like your skin crawling. How about you, AJ?
Scariest. Honestly, the Jabba the Hutt palace with the band. Am I getting this right? Wasn't there like really weird music and like dancers? That like it scared me in a very deep way in my soul. It was very uncomfortable. It wasn't like a spooky scare. It was I need an adult.
Yeah, there's debauchery, weirdness. And to make matters worse, do you know the name of the genre of music they were playing?
Is it the same genre they play in the cantina?
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Someone decided to name it.
That's a good idea. Let's call it that.
They're like, it's kind of jazzy, but we need to make it like a space name. How about Jizz? No, it's like yeah, that's what we're going with. Like I feel like George Lucas was just like chuckling to himself, like. So for me, one thing I found scary, still Yoda. When Yoda makes a switch from being the happy-go-lucky and then he gets serious, that always freaked me out. Especially when he's like, I'm not afraid, and he's like, you will be. And I don't know, he does scare me. Jabba the Hutt I don't find scary because in my head I imagine that being a big space slug like that is just his first form, And I imagine him like going into a chrysalis at some point and coming out as a big giant butterfly. Obviously, that's not a thing,
I
but in
like
my
that. You should
head,
write that book.
in my head, like when they are butterflies, they're all happy and stuff, and just enormous.
Wow.
That's what I want to see. What are you gonna jump into next? What's next for you?
So I've been watching The Mandalorian. I I've watched 4 episodes so far, and I'm watching them on live on TikTok, which is really fun. So that's that's something that's my next Star Wars thing is watching The Mandalorian, and then I need to finish Clone Wars. Definitely need to do that. And then also have some more fun Star Wars music projects coming up.
Yes, I'm excited. Because I was like shocked when you did the first song, the I can be Jedi, I can be that one,
Yeah.
and because I was like, oh, she's amazing, and like, what's happening? I didn't know this was a thing. Like, yeah, it was amazing.
Thanks.
And so Nico, we skipped the last question for you.
Alright.
What's the next thing you're gonna jump into?
I still need to catch up on the High Republic. So that has to be it. I have to start reading the High Republic.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I agree, but I'm kind of easy in the fact that it's. I mean, it is really good, but I read all of the books regardless. But they are among my favorite, and that's become my favorite era. So definitely respect on that one. All right, so next thing I had on the list was to gush about whatever. Is there anything else you guys were super excited about, or like awesome memories you have tied to it, or stories in regards to anything with Star Wars in the community?
I mean, just look at Neopixels. I mean, can we gush about those? Like, seriously?
Yeah, Neopixel are nice.
Do you
Oh
have a
my God,
NeoPixel,
one of my
Nico?
I
friends. Well,
have like 4.
Hannah.
I have a problem.
Can you guys tell me what this is?
Yeah, explain it to me.
Uh, Basically, there's two different kinds of lightsabers. You have your baselets, which are basically like these. They just have a light at the bottom, and they just light up. And those are pretty much what we call like. I mean, I guess you could train with a NeoPixel, but someone correct me if I'm wrong. But NeoPixel, the difference is that there are LEDs all over the length of the blade. And you can, depending on the NeoPixel you can get different effects. Like Hannah, my friend, she has one. She can make it the entire blade rainbow. She can make it like a flame. Like literally, if she's holding it and she tips it down, it makes like if it was a stick that's on fire, and it's just like, wow.
That's amazing. You have one. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
Look at that!
Yeah.
Look at that! Look at that! It's rainbow.
Make them pulse and like do all kinds of really cool stuff.
Oh yeah, they have
Cool.
so many. I have little Nas on one of these sabers.
Pretty much the coolest thing that I have right now is pretty much just my Kylo Ren saber or my but also I'll just say something that I love looking upon is like going on the internet checking what the community has like tattoos and stuff. Star Wars related
Mm,
tattoos. I love those.
yeah, it's man. Can you? I don't know. I just feel like it must be a trip to be one of the creators behind it, and like so someone is walking around with something you made up tattooed on their body. You know?
I got that done recently. A mutual of mine, she does amazing arts. Rilla's World, and she designed this Anakin and Ahsoka kind of lightsaber thing. And I was getting a tattoo, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make it Star Wars. And I was looking, and I saw her drawings, like, because I've been following her for a while, and I was like, I always kept coming back to this drawing, and I messaged her and I was like, hey, can I get like this design of yours tattooed? And she's like, yeah, and I did.
Oh, that's super cool.
Oh,
Wow.
It's Ahsoka's beads, and on top the flowers with a little bit of blue and a little bit of orange to remind a
That's
little bit of
awesome.
Ahsoka. I'm
That's really
working on
cool.
getting a fandom sleeve. Like literally all my tattoos are all different fandoms related, and it's growing. And like I mean everyone's like, "Oh, you might regret it." It's just like, "No, this is me. This is what I love. It's unique to me."
Yeah. Ah, that's super cool. Um, I have a well, so personally, I don't have a Neopixel, at least not yet. I am working on a new cosplay, so that's gonna be cool. But it also makes me laugh too, because like I've cosplayed as like Windu and stuff in the past, where I just shave my head, and then I just think about like how many family photos from Star Wars Celebration just have me in them with other people. I don't know, just that thought just always just kind of makes me laugh. No tattoos yet. I, but it's funny how we all express it different ways. Me, I poured money into buying like a bunch of gear and stuff and like making a podcast. So it's like it's roughly the same thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I really do love how the thing I always gush about though is just like is like you guys said, this community, I've just been able to like hang out, meet really cool people, and then like work on projects and stuff with them, and it's led to some crazy stuff, and you realize that um a lot of these people that work in these industries got their jobs because they were just interested and they just started creating things. And like,
Mm.
as someone that is, because I was a musician for a long time, played in bands and stuff all over, and that kind of when that stopped, I wasn't creating stuff anymore. um and this has reminded me of just how important just creating whatever you consider to be art or fun, um and like not just going to work and coming home and like rinse and repeat, just like expression. I don't know, that's what I gush about.
It is really rewarding to just like make fun stuff that people geek out on with you. I
And
think
it's
it's awesome.
and
Go
it's
ahead,
fun also
Danica.
to have like this little community that, you can go to your friends and they'll always support you and they got your back. And that's what's nice. It's like even within the community, even with all the gatekeepers, even with all the haters, you have those little pockets of people that are just so welcoming and so nice and so supporting that it it feels nice to know that they got your back. Like they kind of became like I'll say it this way, a kind of little space family in a
Yeah.
way.
I love that.
Yeah.
yes.
uh Also, I have it on good authority, from Brian Calloway, that Neopixel is the gift you will get your nerdy husband. So,
Oh, okay, this is good to know. So Brian Callen was the other half of Bad Recap. He wrote the lyrics to the Love Again parody. We collaborated on the lyrics to the other one, that I Could Be Red, I Could Be Blue. He's rarely on camera, but he's behind everything. So he definitely deserves a Neopixel for Christmas.
and we stand Brian here.
Yes,
We're
we do.
yes.
Yes.
Nico, any Star Wars tattoos coming for you?
Uh, don't tempt me. That would be, I don't know who would yell at me, my mom or my girlfriend. But tattoos, maybe. But things I gush about now in this community are like I just have a place to talk my head off. Like, it's so much
Yeah.
fun. Like, I feel like I used to annoy my friends just talking about random stuff. I can go on TikTok, talk about whatever I want, especially since there's never ending Star Wars. It feels like I could just talk forever.
And of course, I gush about the content that all of you guys create. You know, like I'll look in and I'll see like Big Daddy Yankee like just going ham with a lightsaber, and I'm just like, holy crap! Like that's so awesome, you know. And I don't know,
She
just
was she was actually one of the first ones that I saw on the Star Wars TikTok, and I was like, "Oh
Hmm.
man, I want one of those," and I got one of those, and I was like, "I'm gonna start spinning," and like, it's like Nico said, like I saw, like I have one video posted from ages ago. It's on my on my phone somewhere, and you see me trying to spin it, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, "Come on, sw behind your back, don't do it like that." I'm like, and I'm just there and I'm just like, come on, that's how I
Like,
was
what are you
spinning at
doing?
first. And now it's just now I throw it in the air, I catch it back again, I do cartwheels.
awesome. It, Nico's video on the lightsaber katana draw and stuff. That was the first one I saw of the trend. I didn't even know it was a trend at that point, and I was just like, "What?" That was so cool.
I love saber transitions.
They're just amazing.
Yeah, and yours have gotten really, really good.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much, and I appreciate just nerding out and like getting the thoughts and feelings of people who are jumping into this. It makes me happy to like, and I hope when I explain things, that's how it comes across. It's not like, look at how much I know. It's like, no, I want you to love this thing too. Like,
Totally.
that's what I.
Oh yeah, I had so much fun. It was so nice. It's just we're all sharing what we know.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
nice.
Mhm.
No judging, no nothing. It's just talking and it's nice.
Nice
Vin,
conversations.
Vin Skywalker says Nico is Grievous. Confirmed. Um, so we'll kind of close it out with a last
Maybe.
question for each of you guys. Um, so yeah, what are you most excited for that's coming up? Right. I mean, could be any of the books that are coming out, or any of the games that might be coming out, or we got a ton of movies and more TV shows and stuff like that. And it's okay. You don't have to have watched everything to be excited for something new that's coming up. Um, but yeah, what has you guys excited? And then if you have any closing thoughts, and then let everyone know once again where we can find you and your amazing content. And I'll go to I will go to Hammer Creative first. I can only think of your
Um,
handle, and all of a sudden your Danica slipped out of my mind.
oh, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I go by so many nicknames. Like all my friend groups have different nicknames for me, and it's so funny. In one of my friend group, I'm Omega because of my Omega cosplay. In another one, I'm nicknamed Kara because of the Kara cosplay. Danny, Pammy, just I go by many aliases. But I'm really excited for the Kenobi show, for seeing Aiden coming back. I'm also excited for Mando season 3. Well, bits, well, I don't know if I could I'm trying to remember the word for this feeling, and it's like it's not really I'm going to miss it, but it's kind of like a melancholy because we're not gonna have Kara anymore, and for whatever she did. And it's just I'm just wondering how's that gonna go? Like how are they gonna address it? And like what's gonna happen after that? I'm excited to see what's coming next. I'm excited to see, especially with what happened in season 2 finale, what's coming up, like, and even with the Kenobi show, what's gonna come up. And Bad Batch coming up too. It's just there's so many things, and I'm just like I'm like a flea just looking around, getting all excited.
That's awesome. I love it. I mean, but you're absolutely right, especially with the Mandalorian, the way that season 2 ended. We don't know. We have no idea, and makes me really excited. Is when I get to come into. I know it's a weird juxtaposition of like me obsessively like trying to read everything, but getting most excited when I go into a project and know nothing. I know that's weird to have both of those, but that's certainly how I feel. How about you, AJ?
I am very excited for the Kenobi show and also for the book of Boba Tea Fett. That sounds really cool. And um, you can find me on TikTok at Bad Recap.
Awesome. I love it. Definitely go follow her. Her recaps are hilarious and sometimes confusing, but
I'm so sorry.
but always entertaining.
I'm learning a lot.
And then before going to Nico, we got Luke over at Padawan's podcast saying Kenobi. That's what he's excited for. Acolyte's also up there. X-Core Gamer Show says Acolyte as well as Alyssa Grace. St. Pat says Book of Boba Fett. And Starfax says 1,000 times yes, Pat. Alyssa Grace says the Ahsoka show too. X-Core Gamer Skill says one of the few old heads that isn't a huge Boba stan. Mando made me appreciate him though. I think Boba Fett's just a fascinating character. As someone that really didn't have anything, didn't do anything in the movies that made him popular, and so like all of this stuff is like after the fact stuff, and I don't know, I love that he's living up to his badass
I will be honest too that before my friend, like I was watching Clone Wars with her, and then I saw Boba in one of the episodes. She was talking to me about how he's a clone, and until that point I seriously had believed that Boba was Jango's biological son. But
yeah. No, that
and
makes
like Bad Batch explained a lot more of that too, so that was even more interesting. So
yeah,
oh,
and we're just gonna get more and more of it. And of course, right before Nico comes, I get to ask Nico. He starts having trouble and drops out.
Oh man.
I was surprised. I would have thought that it would have been me. We had bad thunderstorms today. It was hailing and everything.
Where are you at, if you don't mind me asking?
Me, Canada, Eastern Coast.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So it's basically French and everything. So that's why I'm forgetting a lot of English word. I'm sorry.
No, you are doing great. You are doing wonderfully. Looks like Nico's is spinning, and yes,
He is. He's there.
All right, awesome. I was like, do I just end it? I've never had someone drop out as the very end of the last.
I don't know what's happening, but
Nico's just screwing with me now, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah. I mean, do you have any? What are you most excited for coming up? And why is it Kenobi? And where can we find you and all of your awesome content? And if you have any closing thoughts.
I'm excited for the Kenobi show because the Kenobi, and Kenobi. But I'm so excited to see Hayden Christensen back because, when I came to the fandom had already shooed him away from us. So to see him come back is like, wow, I get to appreciate this actor again.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys can find me on TikTok at nico.skywalker.
Yes. And Nico's Obi-Wan cosplay is goated.
Yes.
I don't even know where you found the beard, but it's beautiful. So I appreciate it.
The beard is never far away.
But all right, awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining me in this discussion. Again, I follow all of your guys' content already, but I will go ahead and put all the information in the description for here, so everyone else can find you. Um, all of you are going to be welcome to come back on at a future point. So I love finding what people love and then bringing them on for that. So anything specific you guys love and you want to let me know, so whenever I get there, I can. Um, Absolutely. But yeah, this has been a wonderful time.
Thank you
for
Thank
so
you
much
so
for having
much.
us.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime. You guys have a good one, and may the force be with you always.
May the
And also
force
with
be
you.
with you.